Hello, hello. Hi, Silk. Thank you for force felining me. Yeah, so I now have a redeem that you can turn me into a cat. I think it lasts for 5 minutes. The annoying thing is I can't get it to play with my horns. I have to turn those on or off like manually. It's a bit annoying. I'll see if I can figure out a workaround for it, but otherwise I can just turn my horns on, off and on. So yeah, I guess I'll be a cat for the next 5 minutes.
We're wanting to create an army of transgenders because we're crazy.
Wow, thank you for the 23-month combo. Subscribe for 23 months, Ellie. Thank you very much.
The cheek, the nerve, the gall, the audacity, and the gumption.
Oh, and a 17-month streak. Silk. And that started a hype train. I don't know what that means or what that does, but good stuff. Yes, I decided I only going to stream for about an hour, and I figured I wasn't going to be able to properly get into Granblue, so I thought I'd play some Cygni. Let me switch over to... I think this is going to be the best layout. Yeah, this is a game that I think plays really well.
The cheek, the nerve, the gall, the audacity, and the gumption.
Oh my goodness. A 20-month subscription. 20-month combo. Yes, that did increase the hype train. I think I need one more, because it says it's at 93%. I don't know what it does when it levels up, like... I wonder what I can do. Oh god, I can like gift a sub to myself? Oh, and because my VPN's on, it's in Japanese yen. Oh, you know what? But dismount from this. This fight delight, cool new model. Ah, thank you. This is my new cat form. Not that new, but now you can turn me into a cat by using the associated redeems in the channel. It's on a 10-minute cooldown and it lasts for 5 minutes. As well, if you put any emotes into the chat, like so.
What a dimwit.
What a dimwit. These should. There we go. Now, Cygni is a kind of an interesting shmup in that it doesn't really play the same as a lot of other shmups. And what do I mean by that? Like, superficially, it is a shmup, and you dodge projectiles and you shoot things on as they spawn in. There's a couple things that make it a bit different from other shmups. One, you have like a sort of a shield meter which you can recharge by destroying enemies and getting pickups from them. It's really, really, really difficult to, maybe even impossible to like get through the game without taking any damage at all. Unless you're like on some kind of performance enhancing drugs, I think. But that kind of means that there's this like ebb and flow to the combat where you're like destroying things to get pickups, putting yourself in danger to get more shield, which then you use to like do more dangerous stuff. And you can cycle your energy from your shields into your weapons. So you have this kind of like this loop where you get pickups, charge up your shields, you then deplete your shields to charge up your weapons, fire your weapons to destroy enemies, which generates more pickups, which you then use to replenish your shields, which is a really cool like loop. But it does mean that it plays very differently than like a lot of other shmups. It's more like a DPS race and like a can you clear the screen faster than they can damage you, rather than like perfectly like dodging and like luring enemies, or like I forgot what the shmup term for it is, but where you like misdirect projectiles towards one side of the screen. It also, you can kind of aim your weapon a little bit, which is very different than most shmups I've played. And then there's this truly kind of crazy upgrade screen where a lot of things you just buy and they're just, you do straight up more damage, you shoot faster. You can choose your own sort of like patterns of like how your bullets spread. But I found out there's a kind of damage penalty for, I think, each of the patterns beyond the first one. So you just I pretty much just always want my guns facing forward, and I use the first slot because it's just the most powerful. So yeah, that's kind of everything I have to say about the game. It's got rogue. It's not roguelite or anything, but it does have this sort of upgrade system, which the game feels very punishing to play through on medium straight off the bat because you just don't do enough damage. And I'm probably gonna play through on, I mean, just in the interest of like getting through the game. Play on. Let's go medium. Yeah, a lot of like boss fights come down to basically being like a DPS race with them. Need to make sure the controls, because that's another problem I've had on console, is that the controls sometimes just remap themselves for no real reason. Primary fire, secondary fire, beam weapon. I think this is all good. Cool. And yeah, the cutscene, like the cutscenes and the music. The cutscenes look very stylish. The music in this game is pants. I you know, sorry if the person who composed all the music is listening, but I think it's not very good by itself, and it certainly doesn't fit with the game. I think something more like you know, more like EBM or like maybe like I don't know, like Gent or something would have gone better with the way the game plays. But yeah, I also think that the protagonist is like really uninspired. Like like this music. Like, humanity is on the brink of extinction. But, like... this cutscene makes it seem like it's something totally different. Also, very loose, like, flight suit she's wearing, whereas... Now, a lot of shmups come up with some reason why you're the sole fighter, like going up against like an entire armada. Like, you know, you're in an experimental ship, or you're like the last ship standing or something. This game doesn't try to do any of that. It's just, you are just one of a presumably like an entire air force, but your one ship can take out thousands of enemies. Also, that thing falling down in the sky, I hope you enjoyed that, because we get no real context on what that is. So already, like, you know, I've taken damage twice, but I don't really care, because like every time I pick up one of those square things, it like replenishes my shields anyway. And yeah, you can like aim the cannons a little bit. Now here's where it starts to, you know, these like bullet patterns that are being fired out. Oh, like we're doing some shmup dodging. Later on, I think those just become basically impossible to dodge. Like already, this is quite hard to dodge these projectiles. Uh-oh. Am I gonna out DPS him? I am. But do you get what I was saying about the music? Like, one thing I will say is that these explosions look beautiful, and like the sound effects of the explosions and the screen shake and the controller vibration is all really cool. Like, it feels great to play. That's interesting. You've also had that controller remapping problem on PC. I wondered whether it was just a PlayStation problem. Now, I don't think I can actually damage this thing fast enough to destroy it. Now, oh, I managed it. I think I had to use my missiles, was the thing. Because missiles also track to targets on the ground. Like, things just come in off the side of the screen, and I don't really know how you're supposed to dodge those. Like, this kind of music is the kind of thing that you listen to when you're queuing up to go on, like, a ride at Disneyland or something. Right, I've certainly been a cat for longer than 5 minutes, so something wrong with my something wrong with my redeem. That's fine. I'll be a cat. Probably use some missiles. Right, so you see those guys in the background? You can like shoot at things on the ground. I did a bit of that earlier. And sometimes you can kind of like influence what's going on on the ground, like in the background there. It feels cool because it feels like, you know, you're part of something big going on. But I quite like that system, although unless they're actively shooting at you, there's very little reason to bother. I think sometimes they drop power-ups and stuff. Those like blue things that are like struggling to find targets are my missiles, because sometimes you can destroy enemies faster than the missiles can find them. Right. Yeah, I really like this. This is kind of cool that I can start like taking out these robots in the background. And get power-ups for it and everything. Oh, shit. There's not really much penalty to, like, taking damage, unfortunately. Annoyingly, their lasers do block mine, though, so not really sure how to, like, do damage when it's firing out a big beam that just blocks everything I can do. Oh. Shit. Taking lots of damage here. Luckily, I don't need to worry too much about the pickups and stuff. They are like how you get currency to upgrade your ship, but I've like I think fully upgraded my ship, or at least I bought all the upgrades that matter. So I'm free to just sort of like spam missiles, charge up my shields, spam some more missiles. But like I mean this with kindness. This feels like a shmup game designed by someone who doesn't really like shmups, and or like for people who don't really like shmups. Because you don't have to play with the same sort of meticulous like routing and planning that you have to play other shmups with. And that's kind of a good thing, because it feels just very like, I don't know, like kinetic. You know, it's a very sort of like mechanical thing to just sort of play, and it feels good. The explosions, the controller vibrating in your hand, and I assume on harder difficulties you do have to play with a bit more sort of like thought being put into it. But at easy and medium, you absolutely don't, and that's a kind of a good thing, because it you know, not every game needs to be like Dodonpachi or whatever. However, there are long stretches of the levels which are just like this, where, you know, I'm just sort of mowing down enemies as they spawn on. They spawn into the map, they don't really know what to do, they fire one or two sort of like bursts at me. Their AI doesn't really know like how to cope with me. Like, I assume those are our boys down there. They don't seem to be doing anything. Whoops. But yeah, this music, like, you say it sounds Star Warsy. It sounds sort of like the kind of like not quite John Williams that plays when you're like queuing up to go on a Star Wars ride at Disneyland. Like the unlicensed bit that plays in between, you know, actually listening to like real Star Wars tracks that they don't want to play the entirety of. As with many shmups, I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do when the enemies get behind you. I think you can program your gun to like fire backwards, but it's never enough of a problem that I really bother with that. Now, as far as I know, you cannot destroy those big walkers until you kill enough of the like minions around them. They like restore their shields, I think. And yeah, I don't know how you're expected to dodge all of this, or even if you are expected to dodge all of that, honestly. Like, I've been shooting pretty consistent. Maybe I need to just fire some missiles. Maybe that's what I should be. The missiles help. Don't know that they do. Yeah, I was like firing at that one enemy since more or less they appeared on screen, and it took me that long to kill them. And there's 2 more. I don't think I'm going to be able to kill that last one, because I now need to shoot at enemies up here. John Williams plagiarizes all his scores from Holston Dvorak. People copying him. Yeah, I mean... he's getting his just desserts. Like, Jesus Christ, how are you supposed to dodge this? I just simply do not think you are. The music seemed like it was stopping for a second. I was like, oh, is the boss about to appear? But no, we've just got another massive swarm of enemies to fight. Like, you can play a lot of the game by just going back left to right, just firing missiles every now and then. Shoot the fleeing enemies. Stinker. The boss comes out of this big hole in the ground. Do a bit of damage to it before it appears on this level. Right, I'm just not able to do any damage to it whilst it's doing that laser. Oh, it does fire at me. Okay. I can kind of misdirect. Right, here's where it starts to get tricky. Oh. Thank God. Oh, I should have stocked some of those up into the weapon energy. Like, I'm just holding down the fire button and I just cannot shoot through those rocks fast enough. Okay, now I'm about to die. Can I have some health pickups, please? Please have some health. Oh, that was close. Oh my god! That enemy is a damage sponge even after you've upgraded your weapons.
Yes.
Thank you. That is indeed based. Yeah, there's like a whole combo system that I don't really understand because it just seems really hard to like maintain a combo.
We never thought they'd wake. As sudden as it was, and without warning, we managed to hold our ground.
I want to pilot that thing.
We stopped the initial advance. But it's early to celebrate. The threat is too great.
You know, much love to whoever voiced this and whoever was the sort of like the artist that designed this character, but I just think she's really boring. She's really, really dull. She has the look of one of those characters that's like, you know, designed for gamers. She's just like, she's basic. And it's not like every video game character needs to look interesting, but she is just like, you know, a chick with a auburn ponytail, and like porcelain, like, you know, flawless skin. She has like a softly spoken, like British accent. Yeah, she does just come across as like bland Gooner bait, but they haven't even gone like all in on that. Like, if, you know, she is still wearing like a regular like flight suit, you know, they haven't like gone full Gooner on it. They've just sort of like, oh, she's just like a, you know, a pretty woman, and that's like, it's hard not to criticize this without like the sounding like the kind of person that, you know, a some kind of chud would satirize by going like, oh, you think there are no pretty women in games? It's like, or there shouldn't be any pretty, like, sure, there should be characters like her, but at the same time, I'm playing this game right now and she's in it, and I'm just like, couldn't we get anyone like more interesting? Really? Like, she doesn't even have any like backstory or like any I don't know, like, I'm gonna play on easy, by the way, because that one came down to the wire. I don't even, yeah, she doesn't even have a name. She doesn't have any like backstory or lore or any like history. She just like tells us bits of the plot and pilots the ship, and that's it. This is the level where I fully realized that it's just impossible to evade all projectiles, because what's happening on the sides there... Hi, Dom. What's happening on the side there is that these enemies, like these little spider tank things, they spawn in everywhere on the sides and just like spam like projectiles at you. And if you can go from side to side and like clear them out, and then just more spawn. But they spawn so fast, and so many of them, and if you touch them, you take damage as well. So you're just like, you just can't. And then they start shooting at you like this, and it's just like, how are you supposed to keep them like under control? Maybe you can like, use one of the more spreaded out gun patterns or something. But it doesn't feel like that would work either. And like they absorb all your missiles because each missile I think can only like kill one enemy. The homing mode is helpful. Oh yeah, you can have like homing, your lasers like home in on things. I tend not to use that because I would rather get a degree of like, I want to choose where my lasers go. I sort of want that control. But the problem is you don't really need to worry about that because like, I've taken loads of damage in this section. And it doesn't really matter. I'm just able to like restock my shields and stuff. If you just keep damaging enemies fast enough, you eventually get enough pickups that it's fine. But yeah, it was this level was where I finally sort of like decided that I just don't think you can dodge every projectile the game throws at you, and I don't think you're even expected to. You're just expected to sort of like DPS through a lot of it. It's like, look how many like health pickups there are on the screen right there. Now, like, that would be like increasing my score if I wasn't using it to like, or increasing like the currency if I wasn't using it to restore my shields, but it's like, there's just so many here. Like, other shmups give you items that increase your score if you pick them up, but they don't just give you like extra lives like that. This is absurd. I keep worrying that your ship is going to crash into your tail. Yeah, I can swipe away the spaceship with my tail. I was trying to like go into this corner of the screen to like time that happening, but I have not got the brain power to do that. Yeah, like in much the same way that like Dynasty Warriors is sometimes described as like a mowing the grass game, because like most enemies don't really challenge you. It's just like a sort of, about managing your like damage output, your like where you're attacking, and making sure that when you do take damage, you pull back a little bit. This feels like that, but as a shmup. I am just mowing the grass right now. And I don't mean again to mean that to sound dismissive. I think it's a really fun game to play. I've put like a good few hours into this game because I think it is very satisfying. The explosions are great. But as I'm saying this, like, listen to the music. It's just very uninspiring, I think. I don't know, maybe I'm just not the target audience or whatever. This is one of these situations where it feels like you're supposed to, like, deal damage to those things in the back. On the ground, I mean. The back. But there's just too many of them. more keep appearing, god damn. I think what this game could maybe benefit from is rather than having this like missile system, it could really do with having just like a beam mode, like a lot of other shmups have, where you like just fire all your projectiles into a beam. Then rather than having this like custom thing where you can like spread, or maybe you could still have the missiles, but like rather than having this thing where you like spread out your projectiles and come up with these custom patterns, you could just have like some set patterns that fire depending on how you're pressing the button. Also, yeah, like I'm just limited to one side of the screen now for some reason. Oh, I don't have any missiles. So here's something that I think Silk observed, and I've noticed too, is that the first boss is by far the hardest. Like, I've gone down to easy mode for this boss, but regardless of the difficulty setting, I think this boss is just a lot easier than the first one. Whatever. I'll just bump into that. Kaboom. Feels like someone explained what a shmup is to someone rather than playing one or watching it themselves. Yeah, like I said earlier, and I don't mean this to like sound as a slight against the game, but it's like a shmup for people who don't really like shmups, because it doesn't really play like most of them. It's a shmup for people who like the sort of like hype and aura moments of a shmup, without the sort of like having to put in hours of time learning like routing and how to like misdirect projectiles and stuff. This is the boss now. Where are the devs 1cc uploads? Yeah, I would be very interested to see if the devs can like one credit clear this game or not. Also, from what I understand, there is no like that you have to unlock arcade mode to actually play it like a regular shmup. Also, each level is extremely long. Like, it takes about an hour to play through, like, Death Smiles or something. Each of these missions is, like, 20 minutes. And there's, like, 5 of them. Or 7 of them, I think. Ouch. Actually protecting me there, thanks. Whoops. There's just like a lot of other shmups as well, when you're shooting you move slower, but in this there's just never any reason really to take your finger off the fire button other than to press a different fire button. Fuck. Ouch. We got him. What an anticlimax, huh? Yeah.
What did we see out there?
Ooh, some story.
Were the creatures hunched in mourning? Or was it simply my imagination? What are these things? What do they want?
Good question that will not be answered by the game's story. What do they want? Well, it doesn't matter because now they're brown bread. Yeah. My boyfriend has gotten back, so I think I'm actually going to leave it there. Shorter stream than usual. Yeah, I just wanted to play a bit of something. Yeah, I think this is a fun game. I didn't. If I sounded negative about it, you know, I think I went into it with expectations of it being a much more traditional shmup, and it's not. And I think the things it does do are really interesting. Unfortunately, I think the execution, like, it's a little bit sourceless to me. I think it could be improved immensely with just, like, some way cooler music. I think stripping out some of the cutscenes, maybe, like, replacing the main character with someone who a little bit more, like, you know, a bit more dynamic, a bit more of an investment in the story, and giving a bit more context for what's going on before the game is nearly over. I think you don't really get much story until, like, these last couple missions, and that's just not, you know, not a great way of doing things. Yeah, I want to do more shmup streams. I might, in the future, stream... I might play Dan Maku again. I'm working on a 1 credit clear of Death Smiles, so I could stream some of my practicing at that. Dodonpachi Daiojo as well is a game that is extremely hard, but I'd be up for streaming some of my attempts at that. Yeah, I've got plenty of shmups yet to play. In fact, I've got a little collection of them here. Downwell, Gunbird, Darius Burst as well. These are all things that, yeah, I'd be up for streaming in future. Probably not ever going to stream Ikaruga because I am really bad at it and it's extremely hard. Yeah, I'll do more shmup streams. I want to do more fighting game streams as well. I just felt like today I wasn't going to really have enough time to properly, like, get into the mindset. That said, I probably am going to play shmups for the rest of the afternoon or the rest of the evening. So if anyone wants to play some Granblue or Guilty Gear with me, hit me up. Otherwise, have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.